Hi, this is Klazart bringing you Game 5 of the OSL Season 3 semi-finals between sAviOr and Iris in what has been a really exciting series. This matchup is being played once again on Neo Arachnoid. And the first match, the first game of the series was also played on the same map. So and Iris won that. So that'll be very interesting to see if, first of all, sAviOr can overcome the psychological disadvantage that he has from losing on this map. We all know that sAviOr is a very mentally strong player, so I would favor him to do that. And also, if he can adapt his play, realizing that Iris knows, how to counter him on this map. So as you can see, Iris has started up here on the top left of the map, and sAviOr is on the top right playing Zerg and Brown, and sAviOr is actually scouting clockwise this time around. Usually he goes anti-clockwise, so he sent his Overlord to the south, and ironically, had he scouted counterclockwise, he would have found Iris again quite quickly. So his Overlord is scouting the wrong way to begin with. I think in terms of what the players need to do to win this game, I think sAviOr needs to change his strategy. I think last time he was greedy. He went for 3-hatch build, building his hatcheries at either expansion, taking the gas, going for fast Mutalisks, and I think that cost him. So I think that even though I do think he needs to go for a 3-hatchery build, but I think he needs to make one of those hatcheries at his choke, and I think that's going to allow him to get an advantage. Okay, sAviOr doing something really unusual there. He's actually gone for 9 pool. He's gone for a spawning pool rather than going for a hatchery first. So I'm not sure what he's trying to do here. Is he trying to get a fast spire? Is he trying to get a spawning pool? This is a very, very kind of risky, almost all-in strategy by sAviOr that he's invested into. I mean, it looks like he might be trying to go for upgraded Zerglings to try and rush, or he might try and get a spire up as quickly as possible. But it's very risky, because these kind of strategies, either you win with them straight away, and if they don't pay off, then you usually are so far behind your opponent that you don't have a chance. And Iris, having won that first game comfortably against sAviOr, I think sees no reason to change his strategy, and he's going with the same. He's fast expanding, which is really expected on this map. And maybe sAviOr is banking on that. And yes, this is it. sAviOr is definitely going for a fast spire here. You can see him morphing to lair, and I just don't think this is a good strategy on this map. I just don't think it's going to pay off. I mean, the first thing is that sAviOr only has a single hatchery, so he doesn't have a lot of gas that he's going to need. He's not going to be able to produce that many Mutalisks, and I'm just not sure if he's going to be, if a few handful of Mutalisks that he's going to have up early, possibly before Iris has any defenses, are going to be enough really to give him an advantage. Give him enough of an economical advantage. I just don't see the payoff coming from it. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, sAviOr, is the maestro, and he does have extraordinary skills. And Iris here starting up his tech tree as well, as expected. He's pretty much doing exactly what he did the first time around. I think Iris, obviously, I think the only advantage is that this is going to be something that Iris is not going to be expecting. He's going to be expecting sAviOr to go 3-hatch, and you can see sAviOr's got his drone there ready to plonk it down the second that layer is complete, and he does so, and he's building that spire straight away. So he's going to have that spire. He's this game is going to count on sAviOr effectively being able to harass before Iris gets up any defenses. But I mean, no matter how quickly sAviOr gets those Mutalisks up, Iris has got his first barracks complete. He's got a second barracks building. He's going to have a few Marines there, and I think they're going to be sufficient to hold, because the thing with Mutalisk harass is usually by the time with the 3-hatch strategy that Mutalisks come out, you've got about 9 Mutalisks from 3 hatcheries popping out for your first attack. Whereas in this case, even with his second hatchery, at the most, sAviOr is going to have 6 Mutalisks going for his first attack. So he's not going to have as much power in the attack. He's not going to be able to harass as strongly. And Iris has already built a few Marines, and he's going to be building more Marines. So from this point of view, it definitely looks like the choice in strategy is leading towards giving Iris an advantage on this map. sAviOr still hasn't found Iris's base, though he's guessed by this stage that Iris is at the top left corner of the map. His Overlord floating over there now to try and see if Iris has set up a fast expansion, because his Overlord coming from his own base directly obviously has not found one since there wasn't one there, and sAviOr finally completes that hatchery his second hatchery. I'm not sure if he started to build a third hatchery yet, but I definitely see it. Spire is up, so as you can see, sAviOr's only starting off with maybe 2 or 3 Mutalisks that he's building with that first Spire, and Iris knows what's coming. So this really spells bad news for sAviOr. Iris has spotted that Spire. He knows what's coming. He's quickly started off an engineering bay because he knows what's coming, and he already has a couple of medics and a few marines, and he's going to be building more. And I don't see what 3 Mutalisks are going to achieve against what Iris already has. I just don't see it as being very effective. Okay, he's got 4 Mutalisks now, so sAviOr is going to try with these 4 Mutalisks to do some damage to Iris's economy. I think what sAviOr needs to do is go down towards Iris's expansion, because that's going to be the least well defended. He needs to use the maneuverability of his Mutalisks to his advantage. And here we go straight away. sAviOr is in Iris's base. Iris is starting up turrets, and sAviOr is trying to take down these SCVs. He's maneuvering his Mutalisks quite well. He's taken down 1 SCV so far. He's trying to pick off a second one. He's trying to get Iris's gas SCVs. And those Mutalisks, they're being warded off by the Marines, and sAviOr now trying to work his way down. Now sAviOr should really try and go for this expansion here and try and hurt Iris at that expansion. Iris has got 3 barracks up, and I don't know what sAviOr is doing. He's just hovering around those barracks trying to pick off Marines as they pop out, and so far he hasn't killed any of them, and it's very ineffective. He really needs to. He's got a few more Mutalisks now coming from his base, so he's building up his Mutalist force slowly so he can kill stuff quicker. He's also got a third hatchery up at the expansion to the south of his base. He's picked off a gas SCV. Iris has got a couple of turrets up in his base, and he's got the Marines protecting it, and this really has been a very ineffective harass. So even though sAviOr has invested heavily in this kind of early Mutalist play, I don't see how this is going to give him the economical advantage. I mean, Iris has pretty much gone unchecked and should be pretty much ready to move out. I guess the advantage of having the Mutalists out so early is that he can probably keep Iris bottled up in his base a little bit longer than he was able to last time, prevent Iris from just rushing out of his base and going to sAviOr's. But sAviOr's also got that Hydralisk den up, and I think that is critical. I mean, last time sAviOr was really, really slow in putting up that den, so I guess the fact that sAviOr went layer tech quickly and he's got that den up is going to allow him to plonk a couple of lurkers down, hopefully enough to buy him the time he needs to stay in the game. And really, this is too late. Iris has got a bunker, and he's also built a turret at his expansion, and sAviOr's attack on the expansion, in my view, was too late. He would have done a lot more. He's actually killed 4 SCVs, 5 SCVs there, so that's still pretty effective. But I think had he come down earlier when Iris had fewer Marines and he had like hardly any turrets up, if he had gone for the expansion, he could have done a lot more damage to the SCVs that were there. And I think he made a drastic error in not doing that. So Iris has now got about 2 full control groups of medics and Marines ready to move out, and sAviOr's going to try and force him to come back into his base by harassing with his Mutalisks. And he's picked off the gas SCVs, so he's just trying to pick off the gas SCVs and slow down Iris. And he also picked off one that was building the supply depot, so that's going to slow Iris down. But Iris's medic and Marine force continues to move out. Iris knows he needs to press home this advantage that he's gained by sAviOr going for the fast tech. And Iris knows he has a limited window of time. Again, he's got a lot of medic and Marines there, and sAviOr trying to harass, trying to keep him pinned back down. And sAviOr needs to keep slowing Iris down, keep forcing those medic and Marines to back off and not go for sAviOr's base, because he really has very little defense in the base yet. I'm not sure. We haven't seen his base in quite a while, so I'm not sure if he's got any lurkers up yet or not. He is building the lurkers now, so this is the key moment here. Iris has his medic Marines, and if he can get inside sAviOr's base before sAviOr can get those lurkers in position, then this is going to be GG. Iris continuing to tech up his. I mean, you can say that sAviOr did some damage, and those lurkers are up, and you can see the difference here in terms of strategy. In the first game, Iris did not build a hatchery in that choke, and he did not build lurkers, and those medics and Marines were able to wall stride in and take out those neutral buildings and leave sAviOr's base open for his attack. And this time, sAviOr, I guess I was wrong. I guess I was wrong in that while sAviOr's harass wasn't very effective in terms of slowing Iris's economy down a great deal, he's certainly his fast tech has allowed him to get those lurkers up quickly, and his Mutalisks have bought him enough time to get those lurkers up to the point where he knows that Iris the last time, did not build siege tanks at all in that game, so he was very late in getting those siege tanks up. Iris now trying to flank, and really, Iris needs to take, to try and, as we know, once sAviOr gets to Defiler tech, Iris is pretty much, sAviOr's gameplay is so good that it's going to be very tough to beat him from that point on. So Iris needs to do something here. He needs to change the momentum of the game, which is now starting to swing back in sAviOr's favor. As you can see, he's fast teching already. He started his hive. He had his Queen's Nest up. So he's going to have Defilers pretty soon. We still don't see a siege tank anywhere in sight for Iris. He's concentrating mainly on medic and marines. I don't think I've seen a science vessel either, though I did see a starport with a control tower. And really, and sAviOr's hive is up. His Defiler mount is coming up. He's building his greater spire. So sAviOr is, and there's the first science vessel popping out for Iris. So sAviOr has definitely got the technological advantage here. He's got lurkers burrowed around his base. Iris has a substantive force. The question is can he get that force into sAviOr's base, which is going to be very difficult because sAviOr's got his three expansions running now, and this is game on. Really, this is going to turn into a good game. I can tell from here on in. This is going to be a fascinating contest to see which of the two players can come out on top. I do feel that the momentum is swinging in sAviOr's favor at this moment in time. Iris once again using the comsat to try and see what's in that base. He knows that there's a couple of lurkers there. He needs to try and find an avenue into sAviOr's base. I think he needs to go probably for the south expansion, and he just again irradiates the Mutalisk. That those Mutalisks were quite spread out as they were. They weren't bunched up as they usually are in kind of a harassing attack. So it was very easy for sAviOr to maneuver around them. And sAviOr needs to burrow a couple of lurkers in there. Yeah, sAviOr, see, the problem is sAviOr didn't have enough lurkers to protect all three bases at once. So he had the lurkers kind of in the middle, and he's brought them up now, and he's burrowed them. But that's given Iris the time he needs to take out those neutral buildings. The problem is that with those 6 lurkers buried at the choke, there's no way Iris can get into that base without a tank. And that really is excellent by sAviOr. Excuse me. And Iris continues to pump out medic and marines. He's continuing to build more racks. I've yet to see him try to build a siege tank, and I don't see how he thinks he's going to break past that base. And sAviOr here, very interestingly, is building a Nidus canal. I'm not sure where that Nidus is going to go. sAviOr must have a hatchery building somewhere that we haven't focused on yet, or that I've missed. And obviously sAviOr is going to try and put up an expansion somewhere. And the Defiler is up, so Iris trying to break through towards the south of the base, and I think sAviOr kind of wasted those swarms there with that Defiler, and Iris actually, oh my god, sAviOr's moved his lurkers out of the way, and he's allowed Iris to come into his base, and Swarm goes up, the Mutalisks are involved. Iris very cleverly maneuvering his medic and marines around the Swarm because he knows sAviOr doesn't have a lot of Defilers at this stage, and he's taking down all the drones at sAviOr's main. He's also going to be able to take down sAviOr's tech. This could be the game-winning moment here if Iris can execute this well. And sAviOr desperately trying to ward him off, try and push Iris away. He does have enough lurkers to keep him busy, but he's lost a lot of drones. He's finally got his Defiler up, and eventually that attack has been brought to an end. sAviOr managed to ward it off, but Iris did a lot of damage in that attack. He nearly took down sAviOr's evolution chamber, and could have possibly taken down. I think Iris made a mistake there. He should have taken those few seconds of time he had and focused fire on the Defiler mount and gotten it down, or slowed sAviOr's tech down, or maybe taken out his Hydralisk den so that he would not be able to build any more lurkers for a short while. But he did kill off a lot of drones. Excellent marine split from Iris there, sending one group behind sAviOr's mineral line, and that could have been a fatal mistake by sAviOr. I mean, he's lucky to survive that. He did not block off his choke, and Iris just comsat scanning there, I think, just to see if sAviOr's put up an expansion anywhere else. But sAviOr had left his choke open, and this time he hasn't, and Irradiate going off, lots of science vessels there. Plague goes off on the science vessels, excellent. I mean, Plague is very, very important. sAviOr needs to keep trying to plague those science vessels down. You can see Iris already has 4 science vessels built up, and it's very important for sAviOr that he does not allow Iris to mass too many science vessels, because once Iris reaches a kind of critical mass with those science vessels, he's got another 2 coming, so that's going to bring him up to 6 science vessels. He's just going to be able to irradiate everything in sight and just decimate sAviOr's army without really too much risk to himself. So that Plague was very, very important, and it might have a part to play, but sAviOr needs to finish off those science vessels. I still think this game is very, very finely balanced, and Iris again excellently just putting a drop in to just distract sAviOr sAviOr there, and sAviOr wisely moves his drones away. Again, that choke is exposed, so this is going to allow Iris to run into his base, because sAviOr has had to pull units away from that choke to take care of this drop, and very effective drop from Iris there, even though he didn't kill anything. And again, Iris running in, he just runs in past those bird lurkers. He got about half of them through. He got a force of them through. sAviOr does have some defenses here, but that sunken is not positioned enough, and Iris, just excellent positioning by Iris of his marines there. He's just killing off all the drones there and harassing sAviOr's economy quite well. So I mean, at this stage, Iris is really putting consistent, strong pressure on sAviOr, on his economy, while having no pressure exerted on himself. But at the same time, and he's trying to mass those science vessels up. sAviOr just barely hanging on by the skin of his teeth in this matchup right now. The momentum is definitely switched to Iris's favor, and surprisingly, Iris has got 2 marines left there behind sAviOr's sunken line, and they're not doing anything. They're not firing, and sAviOr seems to be ignoring them. And once again, Iris with another drop, trying to keep sAviOr off balance. And I think he needs to keep doing that. He needs to keep the pressure on, keep sAviOr off balance. He needs to keep sneaking those forces in. But I think he needs to start doing, and he has done significant damage to sAviOr's economy. And once again, Iris managed to get a group in behind sAviOr's defense. And I don't see what building he took out there, but he took something down. Unfortunately, he doesn't have nearly enough marines to do any kind of substantial damage. And those 2 marines standing behind that mineral line on the south expansion in sAviOr's base have continued to kill drones, and they've actually killed off all the drones. So that was very careless from sAviOr. He's allowed those 2 marines to damage his economy significantly. And now sAviOr has finally dropped a drone in the bottom left corner of the map and is building a hatchery on the main there. He should have a Nidus up from beforehand that he can just pop in as soon as that hatchery is complete. And Iris already used his comsat to scan that place, so Iris doesn't know that hatchery is going up until he scans it again. And he scanned it earlier, so he doesn't think sAviOr is putting anything up there. And once again, excellent! Play goes off. That was absolutely brilliant. Play goes off on all the science vessels of Iris. Nearly all of them. Just one escaped, and one of the science vessels goes down. So that again is going to prove key. Iris will need to either repair those science vessels, or sAviOr is going to take them down, and that's going to swing the match in his favor. Another play goes off, catching all of the science vessels as well as the medic and marine force, and sAviOr actually does not seem to have a lot of lurkers at this point. They've been killed off, and so sAviOr doing an excellent job of pushing Iris back, and oh my god, that was suicide. Iris sending those science vessels in, hoping to irradiate some more lurkers, maybe some defilers, and sAviOr just had his hydralisk there, and he just killed like 4 science vessels, and that was very, very bad for Iris. So another drop by Iris, ineffective this time. sAviOr has learnt from the fact that Iris continues to harass his economy, and he's built he's built defenses there. So you can see that Iris really, I think he's being very monotonous in his gameplay here. It's obviously important that he pressure, and sAviOr looks like he's running up for a drop here. He's loaded up those overlords, and he's going to float over to Iris's expansion in the middle, to the middle of the map at the top, and I don't think there's many defenses there to kind of stop this, and this is really going to force, and he's got that defiler which has swarmed those 2 lurkers, so that should be able to hold off anything Iris is going to send into sAviOr's base. And this expansion is undefended. sAviOr drops the expansion. It's only got a single control tower, and Iris forced to lift his command center and run all his SCVs out. So he's going to have to move some troops back or do something to retake that, because that's going to slow his resources down while sAviOr holds it. And this command center is going to go down. sAviOr dropping in hydralisk and lurkers, and Iris with a drop of his own to counter. He's probably going to be able to take down that Queen's Nest, but there's a sunken there, well-positioned sunken. And once again, and play goes up, and sAviOr's just doing really a wonderful job of holding off Iris. Pushes down his choke now, but that expansion looks like it's going to get killed. There's a lot of sAviOr's, there's a lot of units there from Iris, and he's taken down both the sunkens in that, and sAviOr's going to have to send units down to take it. I think Iris needs to focus that hatchery and take it down before the reinforcements from sAviOr's army arrives. He's killed off a lot of the drones. He's killing off the hatchery. The lurkers arrive. Is he going to get the hatchery down? No, he's not. The lurkers take out the marines, so sAviOr saves the hatchery, but he's lost all the drones in it, so that's again going to hurt his economy. But keep in mind that Iris's economy is in much worse shape, because sAviOr's got that expansion running now down at the bottom left corner of the map. He's got 4 expansions in contrast to Iris's 2 he's got 3 expansions in contrast to Iris's 2 expansions, and Iris really just trying to play this game by using his science vessels and medics and marines, and now that we are in late game and sAviOr does have defilers and he does have plague, he's able to ward off Iris's attacks quite well, and he's able to drop, and that drop was very effective. sAviOr took out that expansion, which Iris now has to rebuild, so his resource flow is significantly limited compared to what sAviOr has, and Iris once again pushing in with those medics and marines, going with the science vessels. He hasn't used a single siege tank in this game. sAviOr doesn't seem to have any lurkers there, and he does have Hydralisks, but they've been irradiated, and Hydralisks aren't that effective versus his medic marines, and Iris now doing what I suggested he should have done earlier, which is take down that Hydralisk den, and that's going to really affect sAviOr's ability to fight back. He needs to take down that spawning pool next. Plague goes off, so sAviOr, not having any lurkers, decides to use a plague to get rid of those things, get rid of that medic and marine group. Again, another drop by Iris, this time again ineffective because Iris had his sAviOr had his lurkers buried there, but unfortunately for sAviOr, because he had those lurkers buried there, his main seemed to be relatively undefended, which allowed Iris to get in, and that's going to slow down because sAviOr is not going to be able to build any more lurkers for some time now, and Iris has to take this opportunity to move in and press home this small advantage that he's gained. Those science vessels, I don't think they can do much against a group of lurkers. He's killed 4 or 5 lurkers with those irradiates, and he's lost a few science vessels in the process. That's not a healthy trade-off, and I think sAviOr has made a wise decision by switching to Hydralisk and not concentrating on lurker Ling, and he has the gas to be able to do that because he knows that Iris is going for very heavy vessel play, and it also allows him to counter those fire bats. Another swarm goes up, we've seen constant battling in this game for that choke off sAviOr's main, but I think Iris has made a mistake. He doesn't know of that expansion in the bottom left, and I think that's going to be the thing that tips the game in sAviOr's favor. sAviOr continues to hold on, Iris really maneuvering his units very, very well, but I think he is limiting himself in terms of his strategy in just trying to win by I suppose medics, marines alone. I guess there isn't much else he can do. He could build a few siege tanks, but he's trying to keep sAviOr off balance, continue a many-pronged attack, and that hatchery, which had been damaged earlier, goes down. A very incisive drop by Iris, so that's going to slow down sAviOr's economy. I think Iris doesn't realize that sAviOr has this base, and it's very well defended now. It's got a Sunken in there, it's got a Nihilus in there, so sAviOr can reinforce it at will. And as you see again, this is Iris's first-person view mode. Very, very significant here is the fact that he doesn't know that sAviOr's got an expansion at the bottom left, and he's going for it now. He's going for a drop. It didn't look on his first-person view mode as if he scanned it, but that drop is going to be ineffective because there's 2 Sunkens up, and he's dropping right in the middle of those 2 Sunkens, and that was just kind of not going to work. So he's pulled back. That drop was going to work. He might try and drop outside of the Sunken's range and try and move in, but that's not going to work. And oh my God, Scourge is coming down. The Scourges are going for those 2 drop ships, and I think Iris should have seen those Scourge since he was moving in with a medic and marine force. Are the Scourges going to take down those drop ships? No, they're not. The drop ships get through. Okay, so that wasn't actually an attempt. I was wrong there. That wasn't an attempt by Iris. I was right initially when I said that Iris did not know about that expansion in the south of sAviOr's. That was an attempt by Iris to actually start up an expansion of his own, because he sent 2 dropships down full of SCVs, and he just kind of must have just clicked on the minimap to drop them down, to just try and drop all of those SCVs in that base, in that expansion, to try and start up an expansion of his own, and then he realized that they were just getting killed by the Sunkens there, so now he knows that sAviOr has a base there. Another excellent foray into sAviOr's main by Iris. He's maneuvering around that swarm admirably well, and he is going to be able to take down the Spire, and he should be able to take down sAviOr's hive as well. He can't get reinforcements though. sAviOr's blocked off that choke. He's got a couple of lurkers under the swarm there. sAviOr needs to do something about this force quickly. Plague goes off. Excellent. Plague goes off, and that's forcing Iris to maneuver. But Iris constantly maneuvering his forces, trying to keep sAviOr off balance. He's moving down now towards the south expansion. He's kept that hatchery under consistent attack by sAviOr's forces. But again, a group of Hydralisks and Defiler doing the job, and just sAviOr's Defiler play. I think a lesser Zerg would have been overcome by this stage from Iris's continually 3-4 pronged attacks and multitasking, but just sAviOr's pure skill, his raw skill, and his micro has kept him in this matchup, and his decision making when he's used the plague, when to use the plague, when to use the swarm, conserving his Defiler energy, it's just everything is spot on here, and this is one hell of a matchup, and I still think it could go either way, because Iris, he is kind of behind on expansions, but he doesn't need that many expansions. He does, though, need to take out that bottom left base, and this is what he's going to try and do. And if he can take that bottom left base out, the match is going to swing in his favor. But he doesn't have any science vessels accompanying those dropships, so that's going to be kind of tough on him if sAviOr has lurkers by it. Oh my God, sAviOr with Hydralisk anticipating those dropships, and sAviOr had Scourges waiting that he'd sent previously, and all the 3 dropships go down. Oh my God, that was disastrous. He did have science vessels going down to help them, but they're going back up now towards his base since he knows that attack has failed. All Iris managed to do was put down a single Marine and Medic in that kind of island that's walled off between the base. But oh my God, that was horrible. Just a brilliant play by sAviOr again. He had those Scourges waiting from the previous time when Irish's dropships went down. He conserved those 4 Scourges, and he also, I don't know where he saw those dropships coming from, because he had 4 Hydralisks in place, and all of Irish's dropships go. So he's lost a lot of resources in that attack without doing any damage. And I think that the important thing here is that sAviOr has consistently been killing Iris's science vessels. He hasn't allowed him to mass those science vessels. He's been using Plague and Hydralisks and Scourges, and he's consistently taken down those science vessels. So really, I feel that the momentum has firmly swung in sAviOr's favor, and I think this is now a losing battle for Iris. He's continued to stick with the same strategy that he had been following, but sAviOr has a resource lead, and sAviOr has more control of the map, and so if the strategy that Iris was using against sAviOr didn't work before, I don't see how it's going to work now. I don't see what's changed that's going to allow Iris to win the game, because sAviOr has held him off thus far. Once again, Iris using those science vessels to good effect, irradiating a full group of lurkers, and he's going to try the more direct route. He tried to go in by the dropships, and that attack was snuffed out by sAviOr. So he's now focusing his forces to try and take down that expansion, try and limit sAviOr's resources, which is the only recourse available to Iris. But sAviOr's got a Nidus Canal up in there. He's got a couple of Sunkens built in close to the hashes, so that base is very well defended. And sAviOr doesn't seem to have many units around that Nidus to take on these this army of Iris, and he seems to actually be holding off Iris's army with just a handful of units. He just doesn't seem to have the units, and the Nidus goes down, so this is Iris's chance here. The Nidus goes down, but sAviOr's managed to get a lurker up, and there's a swarm under it under which the lurker can hide, and sAviOr should be able to buy himself time to get more reinforcements in. Iris maneuvering around the back since he took out that Nidus. sAviOr just didn't have enough units ready around that Nidus. He should have anticipated that when he saw Iris moving into that choke, and he should have moved more units in, but he didn't have the units positioned nearby, and that's given Iris an opportunity. Excellent play goes off, so and say, oh my God, so that's where those units were. We were wondering why sAviOr didn't have enough units for that Nidus. So sAviOr sacrificed that Nidus to drop the expansion that Iris was setting up, and that expansion has gone down with a Hydralisk and Lurker drop, and that's where sAviOr's forces were while Iris was trying to take down this base. And so since sAviOr really did an excellent job there of holding Iris off long enough for his reinforcements to arrive with a handful of units, a couple of swarms, a really great play that caught loads of Iris's units in it, and sAviOr has saved his expansion. Even though he lost a lot of drones, he saved the expansion. He's got another one up in the south. He's building. He's gotten the bottom right base. So Iris really is about to run out of resources. sAviOr has all the other bases covered, and Iris's options continue to be very limited. I think at this stage, this game is beyond salvage for Iris. He just doesn't have the resources to continue to pump out large amounts of units in comparison to what sAviOr can produce. He doesn't seem to have the strategic rock, paper, scissors going to outplay sAviOr's unit selection, and sAviOr is really, and he just kind of is trying to throw kind of everything except the kitchen sink at sAviOr in the hope that something will pull off. But I think at this stage it's hopeless. And again, you can see here sAviOr with just 2 Hydralisks and a Defiler has forced Iris to run back with his units, and he gets that play off, catching another few of those science vessels while more reinforcements arrive, and those fire bats aren't going to do much. So interesting enough that sAviOr has stuck with kind of Hydralisk play, not trying to go for Ultralisks or anything of that sort, not going for usual lurker ling, but actually going for lurkers and Hydralisks, and the 4 gases he's had has allowed him to play this kind of very, very gas heavy game, and really just the the perfect balance of units to counter Iris' strategy, which I do submit that lesser Zerg would have fallen prey to, and really a showcase of excellent play from both players. Iris really trying everything possible short of pulling a rabbit out of his hat to try and take sAviOr down, and it looked for a while that he had the pressure, that the momentum was in his favor, but sAviOr has held on, and really it's a testament to sAviOr's late game abilities that he's just so incredibly difficult to beat. I mean, I don't think a play-by-play of this game is going to be very interesting anymore, because as far as I'm concerned, this game is over. sAviOr has won an excellent series, and he's overcome the psychological disadvantage. He's used it to turn it into his strength that he got from losing the first game against Iris. Iris just nearly about to run out of resources. As you can see, the minerals in those bases are running out. So even though Iris is playing a very low mineral game, the fact that sAviOr has kept picking off his science vessels means that he hasn't been able to mass them, and we see the final attack coming right here. And I think in terms of critical moments, I think even though sAviOr's strategy to go for a fast layer, before getting his second hatchery down, go for tech, seems to have paid off, because that fast tech is what allowed him to get his defilers up in time to protect the hydralisks, to protect the lurkers. When Iris did eventually break into his base, the mutalisks, while not effectively hurting Iris' economy, did just enough to keep Iris slowed down, to keep him from pushing into sAviOr's base long enough for him to set up those lurkers. So I think sAviOr really did everything right in terms of countering Iris' play. I think Iris was relatively disingenuous in that he essentially struck to exactly the same strategy he used in the first game, which was to go all out Marines and science vessels, and he just stuck to the same strategy as the first game, and he has paid the price for that. I think a tank push might have been wiser, but again, the tank push would have been a little less maneuverable than what he's tried to do with the Marines and the science vessels, pressuring sAviOr on all fronts. But sAviOr really has adapted his gameplay, and it's been wonderful to watch and exciting to watch. And he's just trying to take out the last few remaining stragglers of Iris' forces here. So an excellent series, some really good games, and GG. Finally, Iris calls it. I think this game once again proves that unless you take, and sAviOr's smile says it all, I think this game really proves that unless you take sAviOr out before he gets defilers, you're going to lose. Because Iris did everything right after, he was attacking in all directions, he was dropping, he was maneuvering his units around, he was microing them, he was splitting his marine groups, he was taking out tech buildings, he was positioning his units behind the drone line, taking out drones. He even used his comsat to try and scout for early expansions outside, and he was kind of unlucky to miss the one at the bottom left, because sAviOr made it a little bit later than he might have. But despite I think doing everything, sAviOr was able to hold him off with very limited units, and sAviOr really, with a handful of lurkers and a defiler can weave just some crazy magic here, and sAviOr, they're going to commiserate his friend Iris, who's just not interested. Who's very little to say, very kind of half-hearted handshake from Iris there. It's very easy to be gracious in victory, obviously, and I'm sure sAviOr knows that. So I hope you guys have enjoyed watching these games with me. I really enjoyed these games a lot, and I hope I've made them a little bit more fun to watch with the commentary. This is Klazart. Thanks a lot for watching.
하지만 보시는 것처럼 승리의 세레머니는 마재훈에게 돌아갔습니다. 지금 참 몸에서 주체 못할 정도로 소름이 막 돋고 있는 사람은 누구냐면 제가 생각엔 이윤열입니다. 이윤열 지금 이 경기를 보면서 지금 무슨 생각이 나겠습니까? 지금 머리가 쭈삣쭈삣 서는 거거든요. 긴장과 흥분과 그 기대감으로 말이죠. 저런 저구와 또 내가 5-8-3선수인데 승부를 한번 펼치는구나. 변형태를 넘어들면서 마재훈은 더욱더 경쟁하는 모습이고, 마재훈의 진화의 끝은 과연 어디일지, 매일매일 이렇게 큰 경기를 함에도 불구하고 승리를 거두는 마재훈. 이제 마재훈이 밟지 못한 단 하나의 정상 무대.